guys, episode 6 is here for you. This is all about growing tulips. This is a first for us on this new property. As most of you know, we moved here 6 months ago. We've never grown tulips here, so we kind of have had to figure out where they are gonna go. But we're gonna show you in this video how we grow tulips, how we kind of organize them as well, and just the process of getting them in the ground. And eventually I will have a ranunculus video up and we'll share more about getting our tunnel all done and put up. You can see it there out in the field, but for now, this is all about tulips, so enjoy. Tulips are one of my favorite crops to plant because they're just so dang easy. But we're gonna go scope this out, so let's go see where we're gonna put these. Okay, so Jacob and I have chosen which bed we're gonna do this in. And Jacob talked me out of tilling and making a new bed because the ground is too wet. So this is the last row out in our field, but it's at the highest point and we haven't planted anything in it. This is at the lowest risk of like flooding, but we do have a lot of wildlife out here. So we are going to put our tulips out in the farthest row that has kind of the highest amount of soil that we can kind of put on it. We're gonna put a little kind of fencing or security system around it. And yeah, we've chosen the bed. Location, when it comes to planting anything, is important. And tulips, since we put ours in the ground in the fall, the big risk is, could they get waterlogged? Can they get dug up by wildlife? And so we're taking all of that into account by choosing the location. What we're gonna do is we're going to actually till this bed, and then we're going to put fresh compost on it. Tulips do not need compost. They don't even really need much. Tulips have everything that they need in the bulb to grow. So we don't really need to worry about fertilizing or having the most pristine soil. That's what I love about tulips, is they will pretty much grow in anything. So we're gonna till this. We're going to get some fresh compost because that's what we have. We're gonna flatten this out. We're not gonna really dig down just because we don't really need to, because this is mounded up so high. So we're gonna make sure that we can get at least 6 inches of soil on top of these guys, and I'll show you how we do this. So Jacob has tilled for us. Now that we've kind of got that bed made, we're gonna dig it out. We are gonna load up all the bulbs though, bring them out to the field, and get the bulbs out here, dig, and then get them in the ground. So it got a little noisy when we started shooting using the tractor to prepare the bed to get the tulips in. So I'm going to explain this a little bit. We've tilled up this bed out in the field because it is a bed that we have not grown in yet, and it is mainly all clay. So we have to amend our beds with a lot of compost, and so Jacob tilled up this row out in the field, and then digging down 6 inches and putting our tulips down in the ground where they could just sit in water. We're actually going to put them at ground level and just pile on 6 inches of the compost that we have and the soil that was kind of already here on the bed. And so Jacob used his bucket on the tractor and just pulled all that dirt off of the bed, which made it, really easy to clear this bed, prepare it to put the tulips in. And so once he pulled away a bunch of the soil, I then came in and I dropped each box of all of my tulip bulbs in there. The reason that I pretty much throw the whole box on the ground is because I can use two hands to very quickly come through and turn the bulb up over. And what you want is you want the pointy end of the bulb sticking up. So I just come through and I pack all of the tulip bulbs in as if they're in an egg carton. So you want to be able to put like a finger basically between a tulip, but no more than that. And so you'll see here in some of the next footage that I have one entire variety packed in together, and then I give about 4 to 6 inches of space, and then I go and move to another variety. So once I had all of the tulips, I then came back through, and rather than using the tractor, I wanted to actually shovel all the dirt in just because I could lay the dirt on top of the tulips. I was worried that if we used the tractor that we would end up pushing a lot of the tulips over. So I just came through with my shovel and I gently shoveled all of the dirt back on, and I want to say there's about 4 to 6 inches of dirt and compost on top of our tulips. Got all the dirt placed back on top of the tulips. I have all the varieties marked. I think what we might do is put a little bit of leaf mulch on top, or at least we're going to put some frost cloth on it. Tulips are hardy and pretty sturdy, and so I'm not super worried about them. My biggest concern is actually predators or animals digging them up and eating them. After the first or second night of putting them out in the field, we had paw prints, coyote prints over top of the bed, and we have raccoon, we have mice, we have all sorts of stuff out here. So I think I'm going to make a low tunnel and protect them that way eventually. But for now, they're in the ground. They are going to stay happy there. And I do want to share too, 2 years ago, we put our tulips in our high tunnel, thinking, oh, they need to be protected. Growing them in our high tunnel in zone 8, this specific year that we did this ended up being a really bad idea because it got very hot very quickly. And tulips, they don't want to be hot. They want to stay cool. And so our tulips ended up kind of struggling that year, and not as many bloomed because they just got too warm too quick. So now I only grow my tulips outside in zone 8 because they just don't need it. They don't need the protection. They have such sturdy stems and they're fine. So there you guys go. That is our very simplified how we grow tulips here on the farm. I am getting better and in the habit of providing some context. We grow our tulips as annuals, so we only use the bulb for one season. We harvest our tulips by pulling them up at the root, and the reason being is because tulip bulbs, if you perennialize them, they don't come back as strong and as vivacious as they did the first year. I think they're one of the more easy crops to grow because you just throw them in the ground, cover them with dirt, and they're good. But we are growing them as an annual. We are still identifying which varieties we prefer, but we pretty much only get double cup fancy tulips. And the reason being is because a lot of our customers say that they can't find those anywhere else. When they go to the grocery store, they usually see single cup or maybe something frilly, but we are able to provide them a tulip that basically looks like a peony. They're just stunning. And so we only order really the double cup tulips. We try and order a variety of earlies and lates, so we have kind of a staggered bloom of tulip varieties. But yeah, I'm trying to get better at providing some context about, how we grow a certain crop and why, just so for those of you that are watching it, if you're watching it just to get some information or learn how to do something, then you know kind of why we do things the way that we do. I think that's kind of it for tulips, and please drop us any comments or questions below. I will also share the supplier that we use that we get our tulips from. You have to have a reseller permit and be able to buy wholesale. But there are a lot, I should mention this too. We do buy a small amount of tulip bulbs to resell ourselves. Ooh. So next season, if you're thinking, oh, I want to try growing tulips or ranunculus, we do purchase a small amount of tulip bulbs and corms to resell on our website for retail. And we sell what we grow, which is pretty cool. So you can check that out. But thanks so much. I think in our next episode, we're going to show you guys how we grow ranunculus. And we're also going to give you an update on the tunnel because the tunnel's done. So thanks.